Hi everybody, so welcome to the 16th day of our bioenergy and wellbeing reset, so day 16. So today I'm going to talk about on the bioenergy side of things, anxiety and how bioenergy can support the release of anxiety and support the improvement of symptoms and feelings, sensations, physical symptoms even, on the mental health side, the emotional health side, how bioenergy can support all of that. And then on the well-being side of things, I'm going to do a little bit more of EFT, emotional freedom technique, tapping, to look at how that can support anxiety as well. So anxiety can be a really big one for people in small forms, in big forms. Some clients, some people can have had anxiety on a continuous basis for many, many years, not knowing the root cause of it. And that's just something that they learn to live with. Can be quite debilitating for some people, stopping them from doing certain things, certain activities, interacting in certain ways. For some people, it can even be as extreme as they don't want to leave the house. There can be social anxiety there. So anxiety can take many different forms, and it can be there for children. It can be there for teenagers, for adults. It's right through the spectrum of the ages in our lifetime it can manifest. And for some people, it can come in and out on certain bursts, certain things in life, and a certain burst of anxiety would come through and it can release, and then there wouldn't be, a feeling of anxiety there for many, many years again, that type of thing. So it can be related to situational type of anxiety as well. If there was bereavement or various different big life events or big stresses or big traumas or big shocks that can happen in your life, where anxiety might come in and play a part as an outcome of that or as a result of that as well. So within our bioenergy practice, what we do is we can look through the physical body and the energy systems to see where anxiety may be impacting our physical bodies or our energy systems, to release that then with our bioenergy practice. And we can also trace back to see where is the origin of this anxiety, what is the event, the situation. It could be even generational, passed down through the DNA, where there's an imbalance, where it's now manifesting in our lifetime, in somebody's lifetime now, a client that we're working with or a family member that we're working with, where they're now experiencing anxiety that has come down through as an imbalance on the generational line as well. So there's lots of different angles that we would take when we're looking to see why is anxiety in the system? Why is anxiety there in the first place? What has allowed it to take hold, to take root? Some people even tracing back to birth trauma, birth shock. Anxiety can take hold in our system from that as well, and may not be released. We may not have attended certain practices to support the release of it as well. So it's a really big one to look at. It's knowing how to work with it in a way that we can come from a few different angles to see what support is needed for somebody who is dealing with anxiety. So it's looking to see where it's held in the system and also where it's come from. And that can take a little bit of work. Sometimes our system needs a few different layers to be released to allow us to go, down the few different lines that might be there related to why anxiety is in the system. And it's not always related to just one reason. It can be related to a few different reasons. Or we can have an initial anxiety in our life from something that occurred in our lifetime, and then as repeated things happen in our life, we start to relate them as this feels familiar, this feels similar, this situation feels similar to the first time that I had this anxiety. And it can branch over into even, the variation of panic attacks that can be there for people as well, which can be really scary. The physical symptoms that can be related to that as well. It can be very strange for someone to experience that even for the very first time, and what do they do, how do they manage through it, what tools do they have to support themselves within that as well. So I'm going to look at that a little bit today as well, just to talk around that. So with anxiety as well, as I mentioned, we're looking to see where this has originated. We're looking to see if there's any roots and branches of it that have taken hold in our lifetime. We're looking to trace it back to see if there's any generational impact there. We're looking to see how we can manage through it within our day-to-day life experience as well. We're also looking at the physical aspect. So anxiety can feel very physical for some people. You know, everybody has their own experience of it. It's very individual. Everything is so individual for each person in life. But, you know, some people can describe as really severe physical symptoms when anxiety is there. So the stress response can be really, really activated. You know, blood pressure can be up. You know, the cortisol pumping around the body, noradrenaline, adrenaline pumping around, you know, and our amygdala gland really fired up to do with that stress response as well. So what we work with is to see where these physiological, biological aspects, these reactions are happening within the physical body for somebody as well, to bring the balance back into those areas. And then we also need to look at where is this coming from. That's a key part to it as well. So that even if we bring balance back into the system through a bioenergy practice, will this repeat again? Or is there a root that needs to be released from this? So it's an amazing area to be able to dive into this in lots of different angles, and to be able to support it in lots of different ways with our bioenergy, with the structure and the tools and the practices that we use within our bioenergy sessions as well. So then on the wellbeing side, so emotional freedom technique, or EFT, you know, how do we use this? And these are all tools that we use within our bioenergy diploma course. And these are all things that we would discuss and teach you how to work with within our bioenergy diploma course as well. Our next course starts on the 20th of May, so starts on Saturday, so we're 2 days away. I'm really excited to start that course with our class. So if you're thinking of joining, feel free to get in touch. I'll pop the link into the comments below for this course as well, if you'd like to take a look at what's involved. So with emotional freedom technique, I mentioned this the other day, it's also called tapping, it's also called EFT. So it's different terms put on it, but we're working with the meridian pathways within the physical body. So we're tapping on certain points within the physical body, and I'm just going to work on a little bit to do with anxiety today. So you can just follow along with me if you'd like. So even though I have this anxiety, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this anxiety, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this anxiety, I deeply and completely accept myself. Now I'm going to ask you to start naming things if you can. So even though I have this anxiety and I feel it, name where you feel it. Even though I have this anxiety and I feel it, where do you feel it? Name that place. And it might be more than one place. Even though I have this anxiety and I feel it in wherever. So we're just going to focus on the physical part for this today. There's lots of different things we can do with this, but for now in this setting, in this live setting, we're just going to do this. So even though I feel this anxiety and I feel it, and name where you feel it. And now we're tapping just in the groove from our lip to our chin in the middle there. Even though I feel this anxiety and I feel it, wherever you feel it, my chest, my throat, my head, my stomach, my abdomen, wherever it is. Okay, we're just going to tap here on our upper chest area as well. So even though I feel this anxiety. Now we're working on meridian pathways. Meridian pathways are on each side of our body, but we can tap on just one or we can tap on both points. So if you ever see tapping taking place, you might see people tapping on both sides or one side. It doesn't make a difference. You're still going to get the same impact. Even though I feel this anxiety, and name where you feel it. And the place can change as we keep tapping. You know, you might feel it in different places, and that's fine. Just change where you're feeling it. Change where you're naming it. Under our arm, just along the bra line or the nipple line for guys, even though I feel this anxiety, and name where you feel it. And then we're just tapping fingertips, or flats of our fingers. And then we're just going to tap like as if we have a little hat in our head, even though I feel this anxiety, and name where you feel it. And taking a deep breath in. You need to drink water as you're doing this practice as well. Now also with tapping, it is an emotional release. So you may feel an emotional release as you're doing this. Also, as I mentioned, you know, the places that you're feeling, things can change as you do the tapping because we're working on energy. Energy should be in motion. If it's stuck and it starts moving while we do this tapping, you can feel things start to shift and it might change for you. Also with tapping as well, just remember we just do a few rounds and see how we feel. It's really good to be as detailed as possible. So within a full session, a full structured session with somebody, we would get really into the deeper work with this as well. But just for this type of setting, if you haven't done it before, or you're just, bringing this in as a nice practice to do. In general terms, we can just name it and say where we're feeling it. Now, we could say, I choose to release this anxiety. And I spoke about this a little bit the other day as well. If I start to say I choose to release this anxiety, if I'm holding that anxiety for some reason as a protective measure for myself, or there's deeper root causes, deeper root issues there that needs to be released, my system won't allow that positive affirmation to come in until the negative underlying issue has been released first, because it won't believe the positive one. It'll let the positive one in slightly, and then it'll stop it at a certain point, or it'll push it back out again. So we need to release the negative part before we can bring in the positive part. So again, we can just do another little round together if you'd like to. So even though I feel this anxiety, and you can name where you feel it. So we're just on the inside of the eyebrow, outside of your eye. Even though I feel, and there's lots of other points for EFT or tapping as well, but these are the ones that we're going to stick with for today. So even though I feel this anxiety, and name where you feel it. So we're talking to our nervous system, we're releasing through the neural pathways, communication to the nervous system about what we're looking to release. Even though I feel this anxiety, and name where you feel it. So just halfway between the top of your lip and the end of your nose. And again, the middle part here of your chin. Even though I feel this anxiety, and name where you feel it. And this helps to calm the whole nervous system down. Speaks to the amygdala gland and says we're not in fight, flight, freeze or flop. Our system can calm. So even though I feel this anxiety. So we're just tapping 2 or 3 fingers here. There's sore spots that are here. We're just tapping on those. And again, under the arm, flat of the fingers. Even though I feel this anxiety, and name where you feel it. Again, if it changes where you feel it, that's fine. Even though I feel this anxiety, and just name where you feel it. And again, taking a deep breath in, all the way down to your toes. Making sure you have a drink of water. It is energy releasing, so drink of water as well. Keep hydrated. Okay, so that's just a little bit more of an introduction to do with EFT or tapping. As I mentioned, these are all, and what I spoke about earlier on, releasing anxiety and looking at the origins and offshoots and all that type of thing. They're all things that we look at in our Bioenergy Diploma programme. It's an amazing programme. It's 8 months long. As I said, we start this Saturday on the 20th of May and we run for 8 months. It's 1 weekend a month. So 1 module a month up to December of this year. So it's May to December. So you'll graduate on the 17th of December in time for Christmas with your diploma if you're coming into that course. So we're looking forward to getting started with everybody who's coming into that as well. So wishing you a great day ahead. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for connecting with us, and talk to you again soon.